talking with Al, who she works with, like seeing his quiver and her quiver, and I just kept finding myself like, okay, take another deep breath, like, because it just felt so important. And then, and then the glassing, like, I feel like it took me a really long time to shape her board, because it was just kind of a lot of pressure, I guess, like self-imposed pressure, but really special kind of, like, I loved it. And the same thing happened, it seemed like, with Tyler for the glassing process, because we just so want her to love this board and for it to work well for her.
Right.
So yeah, hopefully it'll be the first one.
Oh, that's exciting.
And it's
really
kind of
exciting.
like every time you shape anybody a board, you start with one and then you go from there.
Right.
And a lot of people, you know, it's neat when I've shaped them one board like 6 years ago and they're still writing that same thing,
amazing.
and they just want me to make the same thing for them. But it's a process also, you know, it's like it's evolution. And I really love that idea of the evolution.
Right. And so as a female surfboard shaper, I think one of the things that we always want to see in terms of representation, that there be more women in all these different fields, is because we find that it does make a difference in ways that we might not have imagined. So do you find that, you know, as a woman, when you shape a board for women who want boards from you, do you find that you have to shape them differently for
a woman?
Yeah, for women, is there any variation, or is it really the same in terms of, like, it's just a matter of someone's weight and ability and what they want to ride and all the specifics of just the surfboard in general?
Yeah, you kind of hit it with the latter. A
I
lot of
always
it has to
wonder,
do,
like, there's nothing to do with like the way our hips are made, you know, like
there is, but I mean, a lot of men have not a lot, or what should I say? It's interesting. I mean, coming from this background of where I've been just like female shaper, how does it feel to be a female shaper in the male job? Thank you for not asking me that question. How does it feel to be a female shaper in a male-dominated industry? And it's interesting because the more I get asked that question, and it's an important question. I love that question. It's just like, here it comes again. But it's also like really kind of like tokenized me as that. And I didn't start shaping because I'm a female and the only female that there was around that shaped boards, which I later found out I wasn't. But I think that, like, being one of the first women shapers, it's like, it's I mean, a part of it's like really cool and really special, and like, yeah, sure, it's a part of my ego of like who I've been over these last years, but then take all that stuff away and it's like, really, I'm just a shaper trying to figure it out and make the most beautiful functional surfboard I can for someone, and it feels really special to me to make it, not because I have a vagina. So, but as far as the people that that do have like certain body parts and hips in other places, and everybody's a little different, and so that's why I like to know what equipment they're riding, what works for them. And sometimes, like my last surfboard interview, someone did mention like my weight is more in my thighs, like, and not so much like a lot of surfers in general, their strength comes out of their shoulders. So balancing that and taking that into consideration is a thing. A lot of women that don't understand the like engineering aspects of the design, they want to be able to fit their arm around the board, because that's actually it's an important thing. Like, you got to be able to get your board from the car to the beach, especially
right here. I have to walk down these rocks.
But
I was so afraid I was going to ding your beautiful board.
If we know doing repair, but if you get to the beach and all you need is stability, and you just want to catch a wave, and you need more volume, then that width and the extra liters or length or however it works with what you need for your surfing goal design, the narrowness is going to help you carry it off the street, across the street won't help you. Right. So I have that conversation a lot, and we weigh it out. What's more important to you? And sometimes it is more important transportation, and they're just happy to float around in the water. And other times I put handles and boards for people, and you know, or teach them how to carry it on their hip with their hand or on the side of their shoulder so it leans against their head. And but yeah, like some women have an easy time going to a short board. Some women are scared of big, heavy longboards, and other women just eat it up and love the like. The other day, someone told me she wanted to do pretty dainty surfing. I don't get that one a lot, even though I shape a lot of surfboards for people. I was like, Brad, you just said it. You went and said it, and I will make you a board that'll help you do pretty dainty surfing, you know? And and it, so it's not so generalized. Some women have very masculine bodies, and some men have more feminine, petite bodies. So I shift depending on.
It just basically throws out the whole gender thing. It's just like, well, you know, you're bigger, you're smaller, your hips are bigger, your hips are smaller, like your strength is here, you're not strong. Like it just, you know, at the end of the day, I think the gender thing is, you know, it's you know. It's interesting, like, because I celebrate that I'm a woman, you know. That's my new saying in life is, how do I rejoice in who I am? Just like helping me with certain blockages, just feeling the opposite of that. But so how do I rejoice in who I am? Part of that's being a woman and connecting with women, but also just being a human and connecting with men too. And then just like talking about gender a lot with people, and it's interesting. Like, I don't know, it's in a lot of ways being a woman shaper hasn't hurt me. It's actually helped me, or just like opened up certain conversations that wouldn't have happened for a man that might have hoped for all the same things. And then other ways it hasn't been as comfortable in certain atmospheres, and being slapped on the butt or whatever. But it's that was only one person one time. It was weird. Oh wow.
But you know, so things like that, it's not like that was like what I had to deal with all the time, but those things come up, and it really depends on the individual and what you allow your expectations to be. And so like for me, like I don't want this expectation of like I'm the female shaper and keep myself in the box. Like I don't want to be a good female surfer. Like I want to be like my own creative, artistic, charging, beautiful, elegant, cross-stepping surfer.
You are all that.
Not
I saw it
I mean,
5 minutes of surfing with you.
Thank you for saying that, but what my intention was of saying that was like that was my goal, not to be like a great female surfer, you know, but I do want to be a great female. And if it helps inspire other females to be great females, then awesome. But also, like, if it inspires men to be great men, like, forget our gender. I mean, we don't forget our gender. Celebrate your gender if that's what makes you feel good.
I mean, I think, you know, a lot of us, I think as a culture, celebrate you because a lot of the doors have been shut for women to enter certain things. I mean, we can see it in the surf industry and, you know, and even mentorship, you know, how it usually runs and how, you know, men are with other men and boys in the water and the kind of mentorship that happens there. And you imagine that also on land, like what you were saying about tools, you know, who gets to hold the tools? You know, for me in film, it's like who gets to operate all the equipment and who gets to play with all the toys? And it's always, you know, the boys. And it's really hard to kind of like open those doors. So to see that is really exciting, and to see you, you know, especially all that you specifically bring to it, you know, with all the heart and intention and vision that you bring to it, and also your experience of your communities, whether it be in Malibu or Santa Cruz. I think it's very uniquely you, and it's kind of exciting that you are kind of like the ambassador to opening up the gender sphere on the shaping side, with all these beautiful values that you bring into it, you know, love for the planet, love for your community, and then also for yourself, you know, just celebrating who you are, especially in this, you know, I can imagine it must have been a painful time also in this transition from your husband. But how exciting as a creative person, you have now space and time and to kind of reset new, you know, ideas for yourself pathways and.
I only have space and time if I make it for myself. You know, like
Exactly.
I don't if I keep busying around and doing stuff that doesn't
Roadside
really
interviews.
Yeah, but this is really like to be able to connect with you is super
This is
valuable
really special,
to me.
yeah.
Just to be able to connect with a person and share, like, thank you for asking questions about just like, you know, like, have all these thoughts that roll around in my mind. And like, it is nice to be validated with certain things of like, just what you're doing, and like when you feel like you're on the right path, because we don't always feel like we're on the right path. Like right now, like we're talking about surfboard shaping, but like I'm more excited about writing children's books. This is my new adventure, and like I love writing. I have a
With
practice
your
of
father.
writing. Yeah, he's going to be one of the
Amazing.
illustrators
Beautiful.
but I'm also teaming up with different illustrators for my different books, and I'm just kind of like making this new path with it, which it's interesting. Like, okay,
so much going on. It's amazing.
Well, I don't really know what the right. I'm putting
your
finger
music.
quotes up right now. I don't know what the right path with this new
shape.
children's book thing is, but I keep thinking like I have to remember that with the other things I do in my life, that the process is what's
absolutely
the most important, not the outcome.
Absolutely.
And so if it only goes as far as like connecting with my dad this weekend, or writing this book for my son, if it only goes as far as us, like I already feel successful in it, because I'm just really enjoying this process of like kind of putting myself in this somewhat vulnerable spot, because I'm like this new self-proclaimed writer, and I'm like, well, I don't really know what anyone else thinks of it, but like I really want to do this, and it's like, well, let's see what happens, you know. So I think that like right now it's kind of like that's just my new theme, like not just with the children's books, but just life in general. Like sometimes we don't do things because it's unfamiliar. And when I teach surfing, it's a message that I'm trying to convey a lot, because a lot of fear comes up. And it's respectful awareness. I came up with that term with my friend Jamie, who I was teaching. And, you know, we have fear for a reason. It's there. We need to maybe be precautious about certain things, but as soon as it's not helping us anymore, get that out of there. And so having that respect for what is this telling you, and the awareness, and should I throw myself into that or not? But a lot of times people keep, including myself, and I feel like I've had the void of me for the last several years, self-imposed. And I'm just kind of like on this kick right now where like I don't want to have the void of me anymore, because it's like this is really familiar and safe, and like I'm ready to just embrace the unfamiliar, even if it's a bit scary sometimes, because I know it's the healthiest thing, because I could feel what happens to my heart when it happens, and I even feel the effect, like just not like on my health.
Of course.
I don't forget things as much when I feel like I'm honoring my arts, my stillness, my creativity. I feel more productive. But it's funny, like trying to like get work done and like not leave time to breathe and be present with people is a safe feeling sometimes, and it's not always the healthiest thing to do. Like I lived in a world of that for a while. I'm like, why the heck did I self-impose that? Like, do I really want to teach that to my son? So,
well, you're certainly not teaching it to your students, you know.
I hope not. They help teach me, because I'm telling them this stuff. I'm like, well, I better listen to myself.
Actually, when you teach your students, does that inform your shaping as well?
Oh yeah.
How so?
It's taught me so much about shaping, because I used to teach people all the time, like, I just bought this 7-foot surfboard from the surf shop. I can't catch any waves on it, though. It's like, oh, because you're at surfing a 1-foot point break on a regular basis, and like that 7-foot surfboard you'll learn on if you keep trying. It's gonna be a really long learning curve. So yeah, it's helped me understand a lot about just how volume could really help people, and and then when I have more intermediate, advanced lessons, then just what might help them.
Right.
You know, it's all, you can learn on anything and you can surf on anything. It's just a matter of time and dedication. How much time do you have? How much do you want to put in?
Right.
Do you want to just jump right to that piece of equipment? Or do you have the ability to have a quiver and slowly get your way there where it doesn't feel